And so that kind of brings us into the next topic. And I know that we kind of talked about seeing one of your presentations to kind of see what exactly the impact of Minga House has been.
Okay. When it came up with Travel with a Purpose, it wasn't something that I would put right up front and for everyone and everything to tell this story. But as we lived it, as I interviewed every applicant, as I made recommendations, as I designed plans for people, I became really, really aware that because people volunteer, they'll tell you, hey, whatever you need me to do. That became such a risky proposition because they want to do it for others. But if you really, really think about it, when you're volunteering, when you do it for others, it's like loaning your family money or friends. There's a risk of disappointment. If you're going to, say, clean trash, clean a beach or clean a park because someone asked you to, okay, all right, I'll do it. But if you're not enjoying reaching down and picking up trash and classifying it in the bins and the bags, if you're not understanding, hey, I'm working out, I'm getting some benefit out of this, it's really important to me to recycle, it makes me feel good, because somewhere along the line, as you get tired and you get sweaty and you're doing it and you watch people go by and maybe you're the only one doing it, some resentment can grow. And now you're watching somebody throw some trash down, might even be upsetting to you, might even be piss you off because you were volunteering to clean up this park or this beach or this road, but somewhere you let it creep in that you want it to stay clean. Because you did all this work and it needs to stay clean. And that's probably it. The risk is that eventually you screw this. I'm the only one doing it. They're throwing trash down anyway. Nobody appreciates. And then you don't volunteer anymore. So we've had over 2,000 volunteers come through in these 13 years. But it didn't take very long to really quite understand that I needed them to identify. And also my graduate work is in service learning, and it's basically volunteering, but the idea of service learning is where you identify an objective, you do the work, and then there's some reflection. Now, if you're going to do it again, you continue to process, improve. What were the objectives and what's the reflection? Did you achieve those objectives, those learning objectives, right? But that's academic. But in real life, it's not like someone went through their process in real life. So I have to kind of take them through the process, but it really helps for people to volunteer in something that they are either super curious about. I want to learn. You're going to get that knowledge, that experience, firsthand experience, and then it'll be a success. It'll be compartmentalized to, I went and did this, and this is what I wanted to learn. This is what I wanted to do. It was beginning and an end. It happened, achieved, and nobody can take that away from you, and you can't be disappointed. So whenever someone said, "Oh, whatever you need me to do," it's like, no. Let's talk. What's your background? What's your objectives? What would you like to? And maybe you help them discover it. But until they say, "Yes, I will learn from that," or I can make a difference there," and understanding that I'm doing it because of me. I want to do it. I can't be disappointed. I'm not expecting other people's behavior to change. I'm not expecting anyone to feel anything. It's all the man in the mirror, right? That you're doing it because it makes you happy. Maybe you're OCD and you're enjoying picking up litter because it bothers you in the ground that it's sitting in the ground. And maybe you love putting it in the green bin, the white bin, the black bin, the gray bin, the blue, because you enjoy that. I can relate. I love organizing, right? And so I just love the process. So it's important in volunteering that you have a purpose, because I've also met people that leave their country and they're just wandering about. A lot of times they're running away from something, consciously or unconsciously. A lot of times we're looking for an unfulfilled success or unfulfilled met goal, or you're trying to find a place where maybe you belong, or it could be. And so it's important not just to wander around, but to try to figure out, what am I looking for? What feeling, what accomplishment, what skill set I'm trying to acquire? How does this benefit me? To either find a home abroad or to go back and apply. It could be cultural challenges. I love talking to them about cultural norms, like your circle of your boundaries. So like, for instance, here in Colombia, there's a lot of closeness, physical closeness. There's a lot of kissing and hugging. And so I challenge them to take this limit. Some of them are here for a week or two, and those teams, especially the nursing teams, they're going to deal with a lot of patients. And so they have to deal with the physical closeness that they may not be familiar with or comfortable with. And so I challenge them to analyze that and explore that. We talk about culture being just learned behavior, not right or wrong. It's what you learned at home, what you learned in the neighborhood, in your country, and to question it. And at the end of a new experience that comes through traveling, that you decide who you are and what you think makes you happy and who you want to be. So it's really, really fascinating. The Travel with a Purpose really carries a long trajectory for discussion. It's a little bit about me. I'm actually going to go to do a presentation with a bunch of veterans in Medellin this week. So I'm writing my little profile related to them there. And then I like to always say thank you to every volunteer, every teacher we get to work with, because if they didn't have interest in Colombia, if they didn't take a chance on our advice, on our recommendations of what to do, where to go, where to work, anything that they came down to do, now it includes families, I wouldn't have my fun role. So every volunteer is important. My family and I, this is what we do. I got the little guys on t-shirts already. They're go to the airport waiting for teams to arrive, and they help mom. My Anna Maria, she does a lot of house cleaning and a lot of cooking, especially for those teams. So she's our operations director. She's a facilities coordinator. And she sometimes has a team with her, or sometimes she's on her own. But I always make sure at the beginning, right before anything, they arrive. If they arrive okay and all is set, that I thank them for my team and I to have this opportunity. And what I talked about earlier, there's some dates, some visualization of the different projects I landed in Christmas 2013 just to figure it out. And so we went and established the nonprofit, and then we started receiving just nursing teams and pre-med teams from Canada and the US. In 2014, 2016, my daughter said, I want to be a doctor. I said, all right, I want to put some roots down here. And so we started working with individuals and adopting other nonprofits, went into social work, went into education, went into individual medical experiences that didn't require a team. In 2017 is when I got that call. We started doing troops for teachers. Not much, there weren't many, but we certainly launched the Teach Colombia, and we average anywhere between 150 to 250 teachers working at any one time. And then Teach USA, finally, that's when we started the idea. We didn't actually send any teachers, like I said earlier, until 2022 was the first group cohort of teachers that were able to travel to the US. We had a group in 2021, but nobody was traveling in 2021. And then we started working with university, pharmacology. University of Denver sends their pharmacists down here to us to work at hospitals. And in 2022, we got into Colegio Memphis, but there was the tail end around September, October. By December, we said, okay, let's do this. We started building a couple of classrooms and paying their debt, buying furniture, hiring teachers, and started really getting into it in 2023, 24, 25. And so we're now entered into our fourth year there. And last year, the end of 2024, last year was a first full year that we started receiving families. Not many. We've had 17 families. We got about 5 that'll come in the next 3 or 4 months. That's been a part of the ingredient there, was to provide our local students with English-speaking students that they could make their language acquisition relevant. Relevancy is my favorite word in education. And so these kids, to get the ball passed to them in the soccer field, to cheer on their teammates in the swimming team, even to say hi to that cute girl from Sweden that might be visiting. Now they have a use for language that otherwise they may not in the rural community. So we've created events like Spelling Bee, like the English Songs Festival, like the English Debate Club, like the Bilingual Tour Guide Challenge, all community-based. I've asked each of the public schools to adopt an event so that these kids that do take it upon themselves to acquire English as a second language have an event to plan towards. Plus, you bring in competition amongst the schools. And even though they're competitors, now they become a community and a peer group in developing what really, really helps. We have a scholarship program. The dream is Colegio Memphis will be Colombia's first magnet school, charter school. Basically, that we can convince to combine public and private funding. So we've been able to scholarship, I think we're student 20. It costs about $3,000 to make sure they have everything they need to attend school for the school year. And we've got about 20. And we're right now, our goal is to have all 200 students on scholarship, merit-based. So they have to compete to get there and compete to stay. There's two factors. Yes, you're rewarding a merit-based student, good student, was working hard to acquire the second language. But the important thing is when you pull a kid out of a public school where there's 40 kids in there, yes, you give that opportunity to the one kid, but the other 39 kids watched it happen. And now you're giving them hope. You're telling them that it's real. You weren't born in a lane that you're stuck in. There is hope that if you too manage to focus and work hard and allow to be mentored and dust off those dreams, now you can believe because it happened to one in your classroom. It can happen to you too.
Hey there, and thanks for listening to the Travel with a Purpose podcast hosted by Glenn Galindo and Walter Reed, brought to you by Minga House Foundation. If you're looking for a fun and unique experience to have while teaching English here in Colombia, we have hundreds of opportunities for you. So follow us on social media and send us a DM to get started today. Here's a word from our teachers.
Hello world, I'm Harry Vaughan. I've been a teacher here at Memphis for the last 3 months, and it's a bit of an emotional day for me actually. I'm just saying goodbye, but I've had an amazing experience. The kids here are wonderful. There's so much passion and joy and life here. I could recommend it to anyone. So if you want to...
Hi, my name is Mike Cooper. I'm an English teacher from England. I've had the most fantastic experience at Colegio Memphis with Minga House. The students here are fantastic. They work hard. They're so giving. The staff are welcoming. The campus is beautiful.
And it has been honestly one of the greatest experiences of my life. As someone who wants to become an educator, I feel that Colegio Memphis is the best stepping stone to do so because you get to meet the most loving, giving kids who are willing to learn English, as well as set up different lesson plans.
And now, back to our regularly scheduled program at the Travel with a Purpose podcast. We hope to hear from you soon. Don't forget to follow us on social media.
So instilling that hope and the expectation, the realization that they can be rewarded, now you're helping the whole community. To me, that's a greater impact than the actual student, because the actual student, chances are they're going to be a winner anyway. You're just going to help them go faster or better because you're giving them native English teachers, because it's a smaller teacher to student ratio, because you're giving them events and you give them good education. But the other 39 is really where the impact is, where they year by year continue to see, hey, that could be me. I'm going to work hard. So it's all very exciting. And now, hopefully, the tail end of 26 and certainly 27, we hope it'll be a big impact to have the veterans. Some become teachers, but to help them find a purpose and their second life. They're all retired, disabled, most of them. And so I'm personally really, really excited about that. Let's say that's Chinchina. Come down and visit. It's not a touristy town. Anybody, if you come down, if they realize you're a tourist, they're going to know immediately, aha, that's one of Minga's. You'll stand out in a heartbeat. But it's a great community. And let's see, there we are. The states around us are Risaralda, Caldas, and Quindío. And we're right smack in the middle. You can see in the Andean right there, right in the middle. And then what we're going to propose to the veterans to come and check us out. These are some of the courses that we're involved in. The Spanish as a language, social science, Medellin and Cartagena. AmeriCorps scholarship recipients are able to cash in through an excursion down here with us. Usually involves Spanish and some individual courses. Of course, we're spending in anything that's medical and pre-health, public health, social work, developing courses that they'll be able to take. We have medical teams once again coming down. Also continuation credits for nurses, for physical therapists, for doctors. They can come and do that here with us. Some graduate work, graduate programs in nonprofit management, international development, community organizing. And something that I really want to dive in deep in 2027, now that we have a school, is some teacher training practicums, where that semester that they have to go teach in, well, we do already. We're working with Moreland. Moreland University already sends us. Reach University is about to start but Moreland's been doing it for a couple of years now that they send us, but we're going to really expand that. Our school is ready. At first, we're doing a lot of construction and development, but I think we're ready now to begin hopefully having a few every year, as well as athletics coaching. And for the veterans, we'll have a orientation, a 1-week orientation. As someone who's been an expat now for 13 years, we'll probably incorporate this or offer it to our inbound teachers as well. Right now, it's one-on-one if they come through here. Most of our teachers that get contracts don't come through here. They go right to the city, Monteria, Valledupar, Bogota, Cartagena, Medellin, wherever it be, Cali. But I think now that we'll be doing this with veterans, we might be inviting at least to participate the teachers if they feel they want to participate. And that'll be that boot camp where we cover a lot of areas. Most of them want to come out and be here long term, figure out how to get a retirement or a visa or investor visa. Some hopefully will want to teach. And as a result, we have a visas department that can handle pretty much any visa for individuals or families, student visas. And then we have our 3-week Spanish immersion that we'll be doing with veterans, and we're going to make that available to others as well. There you go. So there's a lot.
The first part of it is travel, but the last part is finding purpose. Most of us, how it ends is not necessarily how we envisioned it in the beginning. And you definitely have embodied that through your story of Minga. We learned a lot about Minga House, about yourself. We're really excited to expand on the journey of not only Minga House, but also Travel with the Purpose podcast.
Someone gave me a good term I liked, seasons in life. And I like that. I like that because we're always evolving. I'm 58 now, and I can definitely think of seasons in life looking back at decades. And when you look back at the ages of your children, where if you had a divorce or two, those relationships and how it's moments that you thought it can't get worse than this, or very awesome, incredible highs. And so it affects your perspective. It affects how you view things on whatever season of your life you're in. And so I always tell my staff, I don't know everybody from all over the world, no, but I certainly know Americans, right? But we do get from all over the world. But I think there's a different cultural experience as a traveler, from an American to a European to someone from China. Just because Europeans, they travel a lot, they're crossing country borders all the time. But Americans, not necessarily. And so I tell them, don't paint international people with a broad brush, and always be curious that you've just met them. They called you, hey, tell me about a job. I saw you got this posting. Think of yourself as a coach and try to get to know them and wonder what their objective is. Not just try to get them a job to place them, because there's going to be far more behind that initial conversation. What are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to accomplish? Why are you out here? Why are you traveling in Colombia? What's going on? And so it can better be a solution. They might need volunteering instead, or they might need that job. Awesome. They might, sometimes they may not even be the right time. As I mentioned, we send Colombians to the U.S. and we really have to make sure that they're in the right season of their life to go, because maybe their children are too young and daycare could be very costly. Maybe they should wait, let go. It's not the time not the time yet for you to travel. Maybe you should wait and finish that master's to make more money. Maybe you should finalize that relationship situation, or your parents are elderly and very ill. Maybe this is not the year. So we really have to think, and it takes time to discuss and explore and have trust to be a coach. So 13 years later, we do have different venues, different experiences. So I hope we're better at it every time, and listening and asking the right questions so we can best advise, recommend for them to have a positive experience at whatever season in life they're in, because we're all different and we're going through different stages, different experiences. Yeah, so hopefully there's a lot to discuss, and we want to invite participants of each of these venues, experiences, to join us, to tell us their experience, with good advice for others. And I don't see how we're going to do it in 10 minutes. I think these will probably be long casts, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll serve a purpose. I think will be very informative and hopefully fun. And I can't wait a year from now, see what we've accomplished, what we've shared, and what we've celebrated along the way.